demand on the water, which could be very well served by this water rather than.
But what I'm saying here is that you just saw, I mean, for the past 30 minutes, you've been listening to me. I'm saying we're controlling, we're monitoring, we're treating, we're doing good, and effectiveness is fine. We have good people, we work 24 hours. So is that okay?
No, because your curve is going up. There is alarm bell.
Okay. Dubai's population is estimated to be 2 million, and then the daytime population is about 3 million. The people who are coming in and out. Okay? And this is the statistics from RTA, which there is a projection of the increased number of population in Dubai. More people, more wastewater. Okay? So, today as I talk to you about how good we are doing, when I go back to office, I have to think how good I should do next 20 years. This is the challenge. Yes. It's a challenge, in line with anything else. Just like how security, how safety, how water supply, how power supply, how road network might be challenged, how travel, air travel service might be a challenge. This is also a major challenge. Okay. We're doing good, but at the same time, we are looking ahead of time. And later on, when someone asks me the question, then I'll answer how. And of course, to do better, to do good, you should not depend on the municipality. Because municipality treats what they receive. And we need to minimize it. It takes every individual to contribute to minimize that.
Okay, I have a question over here. You say that since the population is increasing, the amount of wastewater will also increase. So do you think there are any ways to improve the efficacy of your current process, or do you think you will need to expand your current infrastructure of your plant?
Okay. Yes, both of that, in addition to the major solution to the problem of the increase, as I said, is us. To minimize it, then the whole cost of treatment is a lot of energy. The more energy you use, the more you are polluting the environment. So it really goes back. Of course, we have plans on expansion, but at the same time, the awareness has been so difficult in Dubai. When I was at the environment department, because of the dynamic population of Dubai, which is expected to every 3 to 5 years, people are changing, you lose your awareness efforts. You have to keep repeating, compared to some other countries where most of the population are static, they are born there and they end up being there. When you have an awareness program at the schools, and then those people, they grow up in the same city, they live in the same city, they work in the same city, they have a sense of ownership and responsibility. So awareness has been very difficult. So don't quote me for this, I know the camera is running. We are not quoting much on that, we are expanding what is expected that everyone to do, to do its part. Not just only for liquid, even for solid waste. I was in the waste management, some other day we can talk about that, but that's also a challenge.
You were saying about the consumption of energy. I assume for wastewater treatment, would you consider using solar panels to power your machines to be able to treat?
That was there in one of the pictures on one of the slides, how they use the solar panels for the wastewater.
That's good, but I just wanted to know if
I will just bring to my last slide so I can answer the question. One of the main reasons we are not looking into solar panels right now is that we don't want to jeopardize our treatment technologies due to any power failures for the same reasons that I said we cannot tell people not to flush. That's the main reason.
You need a constant source of power, I understand.
I need to make sure that at this stage, right now, for me to make sure that to guarantee that my facilities are operating 24 hours with the standby generators. Yeah. Some other part of facilities such as lighting, we are looking into. Municipality has done a lot of initiations to that. But as far as running the plant, I don't think the solar panels are ready for us.
Rashid, I might have missed out. How many plants do we have in Dubai?
Dubai municipality is running 2 major plants.
One there, one in
One is in Warsaw or Awir, which is behind or next to the international city. That facility, if you would like to know some numbers about it, it is designed for 260,000 per day, cubic meter per day, and it is receiving about 350 per day.
Yes.
Got the numbers?
Yes.
Design 260, receiving 350,000. The one in Jebel Ali, however, is looking better. It's designed for 300,000, including the tankers, and right now we are at 220.
What will you do about the one that's overflowing?
Right, good. I was expecting that question. Nothing now.
No flush.
We are having there's an expansion coming up in Jebel Ali, right next to the one which is current existing one, which is designed for 375,000, and that expansion it's expected to be operational end of 2016. I'm expecting 2017. Just right.
But then you're going farther down to Jebel Ali. You have a lot of population in Dera and
It's
Kawani.
networked. Okay.
I mean the distance.
I know what you mean. Right now, the one in Jebel Ali has the facility. It's the whole Dubai is networked as a one unified network, connected to 2 plants right now, and then it will be connected to 3 plants right now. So there are some provisions of diversion, and once the expansion is fully operational in Jebel Ali, Warsan is gonna go to rest or probably to standby in case. And then 3 years after that, there's another expansion coming, again same place, which this facility, by the way, it's oriented, it's located behind the Al Maktoum airport. And then by the 3rd expansion, we are looking into having a facility capable of receiving 1 million cubic meter of sewage wastewater per day. But still, de-urbanization. Don't expect for that facility to take care of the problem.
So that was a very nice and detailed presentation that you have given us.
Thank you.
So I'd like to ask you, you mentioned about your industrial wastewater, how it is classified into hazardous and non-hazardous. You say that both of them need to go some kind of treatment and cannot be disposed in land, water or air. So on what basis do you classify them? As in, how do you differentiate?
Sure. It goes back, you can have a seat. It goes back to the environmental standards on the pollutants that may harm the marine life, the soil, or the groundwater. That's the cutoff line for different specific parameters like heavy metals, like chromium, like BODs, the CODs and all that. Then anything above those is hazardous. Then we have now what is the break line between hazardous and trade waste. Okay. Anything above those limits is hazardous. There is a separate facility within the Dubai municipality's operated facilities. It's Jebel Ali, but not where the sewage is. So it gets diverted to that place, tanker by tanker, from industries, from the source. And then every tanker has a laboratory analysis specifying what are the specific pollutants, to what extent it gets treated. And if any industrial waste below those Then it comes to the sewage treatment plant. It gets mixed or goes to the same channel as the sewage waste. It gets further treated to the standards which are acceptable for irrigation.
Okay.
So that's a separate set of standards. Yeah.
Aside from irrigation, can it be used for flushing? Treated sewage effluent?
We heard of grey water issues. Certain buildings, some hotels, they do pre-treatment of their grey water, which is any source of the wastewater except the sewage. But whether this can be used as flushing or not, it might a little bit go back to the initial question I asked. It can be a little bit related to. This water cannot be stored for a long time. Yes. That's right. Okay. Because the final stage of the treatment is a chlorination. And then that has certain amount of effect on how much we are dosing to make sure that it lasts for the duration of the network length. And then, am I answering the question now?
Yes.
Partially.
What are the gas emissions around the plants? Are there any gas emissions?
Okay, of course. Any sewage treatment plant results to extraction of gases, mainly the major toxic and corrosive ones, the H2S. And in all of our plants, we have the odor control units that we treat them, we treat the H2S on an ambient or in a gaseous phase, as well as dissolved H2S in the sludge. So we do treat them.
So the area is protected, right?
The area is protected from the H2S, from toxic gases. However, if you're going to ask me about the odor about on or around the Warsan area, the sewage itself is an annoyance odor, not necessarily toxic or harmful, but annoyance. But from the toxicity point of view, the H2S, they are well controlled. They have online monitoring system, and they are treated chemically and biologically. I would like to add one more aspect of the whole sewage water being reutilized for irrigation in this case. You saw the photos where I showed you the areas, the green areas, which the treated water is used. Imagine if we were to use potable or diva water for that.
Shortage of water.
Capacity would have increased 2 times.
A lot of tons of problems. I mean, let me hear some problems before I specify the ones I know.
First is
Potable
the
water
hot
Okay,
Salinity of the sea water.
very good,
temperature of seawater.
Energy.
Desalination.
very good,
And economical,
very good.
Pollution.
Yes,
pollution.
more lines for again taking back to treatment.
perfect. All this.
Indirect waste of energy.
There we go. So if I put this in another way around, if I say more of using treated water, that much less of diva water,
Yes.
that much less of fossil fuel at diva, that much less of emission of burning fossil fuel, that much less of carbon dioxide, that much less of global warming, that much less of salinity, that much less of the energy consumption, that much less of money. Okay? So this is more than a solution to pollution. It's a solution to an integrated, sustainable living style.
Just want to go to the point. You said that certain hotels are treating their grey water at the moment. Now, since you have a projection of doubling almost the population by 2030, and you have to build facilities to keep up with that, do you encourage that the new buildings that are coming up have some sort of design to at least take care of their grey water, so that it reduces the impact on your facilities?
Right. I would say, is it encouraged? That would I encourage. Is it encouraged? Yes. The good thing about hotel industries are that they are themselves ahead in environmental issues. I remember in the meeting which His Highness Sheikh Mohammed had at the federal level about 1 month ago, one of the issues he raised was that what can we learn from airline industries? What can we learn from hotel industries? And some others. So specifically, that basically, what I want to say is that in this aspects, hotels are ahead of the time. Maybe encouragement of such in the other towers, the commercial towers, and all that. Surprisingly, I was talking to a friend of mine who lives in Sharjah, and he was telling me in Sharjah some buildings have already implemented such, which was I was happy to hear that.
Yeah, in fact,
Can you go back to the gentleman back and then go back?
Now, from this January, the new buildings will be green. What about making all other buildings in a time frame of 3 years to make it energy efficient, water efficient? Because a lot of old cisterns which is using more than 15 liters, whereas the new cisterns are 15 liters. And the water taps which is having a heavy flow, which can be reduced more than 50%. What about going back as retrospective measures for all the existing buildings with a time frame of 3 years, making it mandatory?
Sure. Don't forget the word sustainability. It's very important. And I'll get to your question. I'll tell you how I'm trying to link it. When you say something to be sustainable, is that one thing doesn't go or doesn't conflict with something else. Different